So in this week's Creative Confidence Catch Up, today I'm going to be chatting with Harmony. So Harmony, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
Hello, Amy. How are
It's
you?
been a while.
Oh my gosh, it's been a while. I am Harmony. I'm 49 years old for a few more minutes. I'll be 50 in October. And I have come into my own in the last few years. As you know, we met through that networking group, Mr. Thompson. Is it Thomas or Thompson?
Thompson.
Thompson. I love him.
Mhm.
Um, it's not him that I don't remember the name. I never can remember those two. I'm always confused those. But yes, just networking and figuring myself out and growing. And, it's better to be late than never.
Mhm.
And just in the last, probably year, it has really I've really stepped into my own as far as being able to create and podcast and get more of clarity on how I want to share my message to help
Mhm.
people feel empowered and live their best life and not, you can't really keep people from going through strife because that's part of the magic of life is going through that
Yeah.
level of suffering. There's magic in that. But it's nice to be able to share your story so that people have an awareness that when you do go through it, you're going to be able to come out the other side. You're going to be even stronger. So
Mhm.
that's kind of my thing is just my brand, I guess, would be to help people and be an inspiration to people if I can at all.
I love at the moment. So I know previously you've always been on Instagram stories and things like that, but you've got back on there and obviously I've been kind of following that journey. And like you said, I think you found yourself. Like
Yeah.
there's something about and like from your confidence, I think you're going to help other people to thrive, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
my first question to you is, in your world, what does confidence look like? Because I can see your confidence is thriving, and I definitely think you going to help other people thrive. So yeah, what does that look like to you?
Confidence is never going to come from the outside. It's
Mhm.
always going to come from inside
Yeah.
you. And my one liner for that would be, I don't know why this is making me feel like I want to cry. It's just growth is so amazing. You're listening to yourself all the time.
Mhm.
And so whether you're speaking kindly to yourself or you're being mean to yourself, you're listening all the time. And not only are you listening, but you're watching. So how in kind of an obscure way, not intentionally, found my confidence was just by making plans to do something for myself, and whether that was, something obviously positive. So whether that was I'm going to go for, a walk after work, or it started off pretty simple in the beginning. Now I'm running through the woods like 4 miles, 5 miles a day,
Yeah.
but you're listening to yourself. And so if you say you're going to do something, do it. And every single time you follow through on that promise that you've made to yourself, even if it's something as simple as, I'm going to eat a little better today, or I'm going to call my friend I love and tell him I love him today. And, whatever it is, every single time you follow through on that, you are showing yourself subconsciously and consciously that you believe in yourself and
Mhm.
that you are capable of these things and that you can basically keep your word. And I just noticed that I was making a commitment for weight loss and to be healthy, and it usually starts pretty basic like that. But what I got out of it was just this real vibrant sense of confidence because I made a commitment to show up for myself every day in some little way with movement out,
Mhm.
and that was like intentional movement above and beyond what I was already doing. So whether it was a mile or it was 5 miles or it was, 10 minutes. Every single time I said I want to do this and I did it, that was quietly building confidence within me because I was showing up for myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every single time I showed up for myself and then I began leveling up and doing, because the more you show up for yourself, the easier it is. Then you're just like, whoa, I can do hard things. I am capable of not only hard things and moving through those, but I'm also capable of like really showing up for myself, and I'm capable of achieving things. And again, it all is coming from inside. You can try and find it on the outside, and yes, we get little glimmers of confidence through our loved ones and things like that, but for the most part, really, it's just showing up for yourself, right?
Mhm. And that's the thing. If you're not happy within yourself, then it's going to make it hard to anybody like you, I suppose, because from how you feel, it will then project on other people, and what you are, it will project back, won't it? And
Yeah.
those people will come into your life,
And you
most
can't
certainly.
fool people. We all know you
Yeah.
can, whether we believe in the woo woo of energy or whatever, I fully embrace it. But whether we believe in it or not, we feel energy.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
you can tell
definitely.
when somebody's trying too hard. You can tell when somebody's a little insecure. You can tell when, and God bless them, because we've all been there, but you can tell. And yeah, you're right. Your energy, when your energy is of a certain magnitude, that's what you get from the world. And if you
Mhm.
go out into the world like Eeyore and you're just like not making eye contact and you're sad, and a lot of people can't help that, but you're not really getting, there's no back and forth from the people that you're coming into contact
Mhm.
with. Or even something as simple as nature. If you go out into nature and you're not really engaging with nature, you're not going to receive anything from it, so you get what you give, kind of basically.
But yeah, and it's so, so true. What I'm going to ask now then kind of relates to that. And have you ever kind of felt that way before, where you felt like you've not been in contact with nature, you've not been aligning with other people because you're feeling down in yourself? And did that, I suppose, did that sort of setback, or a specific setback, make you want to then lead the life that you're living now, to live your best life?
Oh, good question. Exactly. I mean, you're down long enough, you want to be up.
Yeah.
And we all have a moment where, excuse my French, but we all have a moment where we get sick of our own shit.
Hmm.
And we get sick of, or we don't. Some
Hmm.
people don't. And that's kind of where what I do comes in, is I want to engage with people. I don't want to get on and tell people, look what you can be doing. I more or less want to walk the walk and let people see. That's why I'm so open about my story, as people will
That's it.
see when my book comes out. But I'm very raw, I'm very transparent, I'm very open about my dark times,
Hmm.
because a lot of times when people see me running or they see me cooking, and I just choose to be of a brighter like energy instead of coming on and being sad all the time. But it's important to share my story of darkness and all
Hmm.
of the struggles that I have overcome to get to where I am, because then that gives you a little bit of street cred. Then people can look and go, okay, she's not just always been like this or whatever.
Yes.
She has fought back from something really, really dark. And in my particular case, I've fought back from a multitude of different things, as many people have. But you do. I mean, it wasn't, seriously, it was not even a decade ago that I remember very clearly being like waking up in the morning really hungover and like in the fetal position, just alone, and feeling isolated and feeling sad and feeling hopeless and feeling like I'm never going to get the things. God, it even makes me want to cry right now. I'm just an emotional person
No,
in
but
a good way.
it being in tune with your emotions,
I'm
being
very,
emotional
yeah.
about it, it means a lot to you.
It does, because it's just like, I know that within 1 square mile of where I'm sitting right now and 1 square mile of where you're sitting right now and beyond, there are people hurting.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get up in the morning and not think of that. It's like, God,
Yes.
if I can share my story and show little ways that you can add a little bit of sparkle into your
Yeah.
life every day. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And getting out into nature, and speaking with a friend, or, making yourself a nice meal, or taking a nice hot bath. It doesn't have to be anything crazy,
Hmm.
but just baby steps to showing up for yourself. Then you can live life in a way that is not so dark, because we all have been through it.
Yeah.
I mean, every single one of us walking this planet has been through some strife. And I guess I just want to be a beacon and go, you can get through this
Yeah.
regardless of what you're going through. You can get on the other side of it.
And when people say like, I've not got a story to share, it's like, of course you have. It's like everybody has a story to share. And usually it's from those setbacks that we then find our way somehow. And that's when we find that we can then help others, like be channeling it through talking on a podcast like this, or writing a blog, or like you said, you do your walk sort of thing. And just by using that to communicate, oh, well, I'm feeling low, but I'm doing this to kind of help me, it could potentially help you. Not that not everything or probably what I'm doing will help you, but if you can give that sort of a bit of light at the end of the tunnel for someone, a bit of hope, that's great, isn't it?
I mean, you never know who's watching.
Yeah,
You just
exactly.
never know who's watching. I don't know if you remember Matt Burke.
Yes.
From
Yes, yes.
okay, well, he wrote his book, and he at one time, many years ago, he was on my podcast, and then I was on his podcast. He's
Mm.
just such a gem of a human.
Very cool.
And I remember, I don't know whether it was his show or my show, regardless. A beautiful soul, and I wish I wouldn't say her name anyway, but she lives in Ireland, and she heard our conversation, and she messaged the both of us and said, "Thank you for your chat. Thank you for your
Oh,
open chat about," we were talking about something pretty heavy, of something that we had come back from, and we had that in common, me and him. And she just said, "I was, running on the trail, and I have been in a really dark place, and just listening to y'all's conversation really gave me a little bit of hope for that day." And I
oh,
was like, "God,
amazing.
you never know who's watching, and you never know who's listening."
No, that's and from there, that's where I feel like within this next question I'm going to talk with you about is that idea of community. From telling a story and sharing a story, it then goes into this community aspect. And I
Mhm.
remember when we first got to know one another, you started a little community in regards to the Bliss Broker, etc. Can you
Uh-huh.
tell us a bit about that? Because that was such an inspiring sort of a part of your life, and it's funny how that's kind of started to integrate with what you're doing now, but it's a little bit different at the same time.
It is, yeah, it's kind of morphed on its own, as things do.
Mhm.
And I had a community where I helped women. We did accountability and
Yeah.
did little practices through Voxer, which is like similar to WhatsApp.
Uh-huh.
And we would just check in with one another every day and just show, like, just, I guess, accountability. I mean, I'm still in my accountability groups all the way back from then. We're 6 years in. So Mark
Wow.
Jeffrey of the Mark Jeffrey
Yes.
podcast,
Yes.
who's in Cornwall, we are still in our little group. There's 5 of us
Wow.
remaining, and we have checked in every day for 6 years. And then
Amazing.
I've got my other group that was started about the same time, around 6-year mark, with my other women. There's 5 other women. So there's 6 of us total. And we got together, all those
Oh,
years ago, with a like-minded idea of supporting one another. And then I took that kind of fun online, especially because lockdown and all that crazy, we
mhm.
couldn't really see other people. It was really cool to network in that way. And then I adopted that for what was the Bliss Broker at the time. I'm now the Radical Harmony podcast. I've
Amazing.
morphed from the Bliss Broker, but yeah, it's been really great to have that kind of connection with people digitally. I think that's one really cool thing that came out of lockdown, is that we
Uh-huh.
couldn't really see each other in person. So we found ways to work around that, as we do as humans.
Yeah.
And it was just a great way to let people kind of talk about what they were going through, and hold their hand through some things, and share my story with them, and guide them through some different mindsets and different ways to speak to themselves. Again, like I said, we're always listening to ourselves, and our perspective is everything. So
Mhm.
that is essentially what that Bliss Broker community was about at the time. And now it's morphing even bigger, because, as you can imagine, since all of those years ago, I've learned a lot more.
Oh,
And I'm
definitely.
incorporating human design. I'm incorporating a lot of different really cool things that I've learned in bite sizes, for women to feel a sense of self, because I believe our road to enlightenment is all inside of us already. We don't really need to seek the external,
Mhm.
but it does help to be, to plant seeds. And so it's interesting that you bring that up. I'm going to be creating a new community under the Radical Harmony
Oh,
podcast brand,
wow.
as a way to help women. And I don't know, I'm building that right now with the help of my beautiful chat GPT, Tabitha. And so we'll see what that turns into, but essentially
Wow.
it will be, like the Bliss Broker community that I created all those years ago, but amped up, because I know more now. You know what I mean?